Ladies and gentlemen, we made it. Yes, we did. We clinched the 6th seed overall throughout the regular season here in the GLCC. And as a result, we made the playoffs. So that's a very, very good accomplishment, I think. On my part, I'm happy that I did end up making it after having a little bit of a landslide losing streak there towards the end of the season. Initially, I thought I was going to make it much earlier, but I ended up only clinching after the results solidified on week 7. So despite that, did end up making it in. Have to be thankful for that, of course. But our round 1 opponent is none other than my brother, Lostlotl, the coach of the Twinleaf Town Turtwigs, and yes, they are still a monotype psychic team, and I'm saying it like that because we played them literally last week, and we got our butts kicked. I think it was a 4-0 loss to Lostlotl in week 7 of the GLCC there. You can see that video in the GLCC playlist that I have on the channel if you are interested. So with that being said, we are going to have to prepare for a rematch. Gonna run it back with our monotype dragon team and just try not to get completely goobed by that dang random screen on that Indeedee, as well as that dang Delphox with the Terra Fairy access. You can see Lostlotl's team again on the right. We have an Iron Boulder as well that does outspeed the entire team and has the potential to definitely clean us up in an endgame. We do also have some other threats, including 2 Terra Captains in Espeon, as well as the Delphox, which can both terrestrialize into a fairy type if they so choose. So definitely going to have to watch out for those. Last game, he ended up bringing the Delphox. We do also have to worry about some of the other threats, including a very, very bulky Galarian Slowking, as well as some very nice offensive pieces in something like the Jirachi maybe, Necrozma maybe. There's definitely a lot to think about here, but I do think that we have the means to take this win in the Seattle Slashers' first ever playoff game here on the channel. So there's kind of a 3-part process, a 3-part plan that I've cooked up for the rematch here against Lostlotl. Essentially, we put all of our eggs into one basket this week, and that basket is named Ash, the Roaring Moon. And so hopefully Roaring Moon is definitely gonna be able to clean this game up if I can position it well. We'll see if that is gonna happen or not, but yeah, the first part of the plan isn't actually Roaring Moon. It's going to be Jackal with the Life Orb. As you can see, we are Adamant First Impression. That's to take care of Boulder if it gets out of control. But the most important move on our moveset is going to be Stealth Rocks. So last time we played, the Delphox was actually Babiri Berry for if I had Iron Head on my Roaring Moon. It would be able to live 1 and revenge me with a Dazzling Gleam, which was a very good bring on his part. And so if he decides to do something similar, then I think that what I'm going to do instead is try and chip that guy down with the Stealth Rocks. So for instance, the first time it comes in, it's going to have to be a fire type. If it's not heavy duty boots, it's going to be taking a very, very large significant 25% chip, which is very important. We'll get into that a little bit later. The second part of the plan is going to be this completely support Latios set. So we have Light Screen and Reflect with Light Clay in order to facilitate our Roaring Moon setting up. We also have Tailwind so that we can outspeed the Iron Boulder if need be without even setting up a Dragon Dance, or even if it's Scarf, we'll be able to outspeed it if we set up 1, or even if we set up 0, because Tailwind actually doubles speed. So yeah, Tailwind very, very important here for the Iron Boulder. And then we also have Memento. 0 attacks on this Latios is certainly very interesting, but I think that it is a set which I think that it is a set that's going to have a very high potency in helping Roaring Moon win here. Obviously with Memento lowering the attack and special attack by 2 stages of whatever Pokemon is in front of the Latios. That'll allow Roaring Moon to come in and definitely get off like 1 or 2, maybe 3, depending on the if the screens are still going to be up and everything like that. Dragon Dances, and obviously that's going to be the Pokemon that I talk about next here. We have a weakness policy on this Roaring Moon because behind a light screen, we do actually live a non-specs Dazzling Gleam from a Terra Fairy Delphox, and so hopefully we'll be able to gather some information on that set just to confirm that it is not going to be specs. But in the event that it is specs, then we do also have some other ways around that, which I'll go down and show you guys a little bit later. But for now, this is going to be our main win condition, pretty much our only win condition in this Roaring Moon. If we Dragon Dance once and it procs the weakness policy, we get up to +3 attack with knockoff and earthquake. Should be just about plenty to OHKO pretty much everything on Lostlotl's team at that point, except for a max HP maximum defense Delphox. It actually doesn't die to a +3 earthquake once it's Terra Fairyed, which is really, really problematic, except for the fact that we do have those stealth rocks up there, and with that amount of chip, we will actually be able to kill it. So that's why the rocks on Flygon are so crucial this game, and we're probably just going to be leading Flygon and immediately clicking rocks. Hopefully he brings, like, last game he led a Necrozma, which could have been weakness policy, and I decided to U-turn on it. Hopefully this time he brings like something like lead Glowking, Toxic Spikes, or I guess lead Jirachi, Stealth Rocks, or something like that, and we can potentially scare it out on turn 1 with the Flygon and just get our rocks up, which would definitely facilitate Roaring Moon here in undertaking the sweep. If we ever get 2 Dragon Dances off and our weakness policy is activated, I see absolutely no way in which we don't win this game. So that's how like naturally game ending this set could be, but it all depends on the screens from the like super duper support Latios above. Yeah, it's gonna be a doozy. We'll see if Roaring Moon can pull it out. Next up, we have Smoke the Dragalge, this time holding a Payapa Berry with Terra Ground, Terra Blast. This is because during the last game, I was actually Terra Steel, and I ended up not even clicking it because I quickly figured out that this is one of my answers to a Delphox, and so I wanted to not be weak to fire, and I understand by not tearing, I was also weak to Psychic. But yeah, it was very, very difficult to play around last week, so this time, our Dragalge is going to be prepared and able to take on, regardless of whether we Terra or not, it's going to be able to take on a Delphox. We do have Terra Ground, Terra Blast, like I said. We also have that Payapa Berry so that it can't OHKO us with a Psychic move, though it likely won't OHKO us anyways just because of how, we're literally max HP, max SPDF with Sassy Nature, so probably not going to be OHKOing us there. We do also have the Dragon Tail to prevent setup on something like Latios, Necrozma, anything like that. We do also have Sludge Wave just to do some stab damage into, I guess, just the Terra Fairy Mons, but we needed some way to punish them. In addition, we do also have that Flip Turn to gain momentum. And 5th up on the team here, we actually have Rook, the Archaludon, holding a Choppleberry, and with the Choppleberry we should be able to once again take care of the Iron Boulder. We do also have Iron Defense in case it wants to click Earthquake instead of Close Combat into us, which I think that's also pretty likely considering our team overall is rather ground weak, and also last week I brought Raging Bolt, not coming this week. I think Latios, or rather Latios, all these Latis are twisting my tongue up. Latios is going to be replacing Raging Bolt from last week. So hopefully with the Iron Defense boost and the Stamina boost, we'll be able to continually wall the Iron Boulder. We do also actually have Dark Pulse this time. This is to break Colbers on things like Galarian Slowking that wanted to switch in. Indeedee last time had a Citrus Berry. It could also easily be a Colbur Berry set. The reason why I ended up not breaking any Colburs or anything like that when it mattered before was because none of the times that these Pokemon were switching in, I had a Dark move, And so hopefully now with Dark Pulse on this, we're going to be breaking some Colburs for Roaring Moon to clean up in the end game. And then of course we do also have Steel Beam, just to be able to take care of those Terra Fairy Mons in case we need to switch this in against them. I'm not nearly as scared to use this Archaludon as a check to something else rather than the Iron Boulder. Last time I actually ended up saving it exclusively for the Iron Boulder, and it just kind of sat in the back and then ended up not really accomplishing too much. Sure, it got 1 kill, but the game was already sealed at that point, and I would rather use my Archaludon in the mid game rather than have it just sitting there in an end game where it's not getting any impactful work done, if you know what I'm saying. So Steel Beam should help us take care of some Terra Fairy Pokemon in addition to just doing big damage. We also do, of course, have Thunder Wave as a final supporting move. And speaking of support, the final Pokemon on the team is going to be Valkyrie once again with the heavy duty boots, Cyclizar, rocking out with Knockoff, Shift Gear, Rapid Spin, and U-Turn. This is pretty much the exact same set that we brought last time. This is pretty much, again, just to get rid of Toxic Spikes once I Terra on Dragalge. If he wants to be Rocks lead Jirachi, Rocks lead Necrozma, anything like that, then I can also spin away those. So a general very nice utility set, again with a Knockoff to hopefully pop any Colburs early, get rid of any funky items that Lostlotl's Pokemon could be holding here. That's sort of the game plan there. But yeah, that's going to wrap up this section of the video. Regardless of how this battle ends, I'm going to be both very, very pleased and very, very disappointed because, again, Lostlotl is like a brother to me. We started playing Draft in the same league way back in JJDL Season 2, and we've pretty much built and mocked for each other almost every game this past GLCC season. So the two of us have been like on a team, and it's very, very unfortunate that one of us is gonna go out in the quarterfinals only in the playoff bracket here. Very, very unforgiving bracket run as a result. So hopefully we'll be able to pull it out and we will be the ones to advance. But if not, that's going to be unfortunate for me, but I will also be very, very happy to see Lostlotl advance. So at the end of the day, we're just going to play our game, see how things go, and I will see you guys in the battle. Okay, and here we are with the battle. We see the Weirdeer make an appearance, and that's actually going to put a damper in our plans with our weakness policy, Roaring Moon here, so that's actually going to be quite problematic. I don't love that. And in addition, I'm pretty sure it's also like decently tanky on the physical side, so we won't be able to instantly remove it. I think still what I want to do is just go ahead and lead with Jackal and get my rocks up either way. We do also see the Jirachi, which is another Earthquake liability, so hopefully that is what ends up happening there. But yeah, I don't see any reason to not just go ahead and lead the Jirachi here as we get ready to play in this game here up against Lostlotl. Round 1 of the playoffs, the first ever playoff appearance for the Seattle Slashers. And so let's just go ahead and click the Flygon. Understandably, Lostlotl is still going to be thinking here. I suppose we should also post a live link, huh? I'm going to ask him if he can do that. And we do see a Jirachi lead. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. So, let's go ahead and I believe that we actually speed tie with this, and it depends on how much speed he is running here. I guess we could also just Earthquake on a switch, but I want to get my rocks up as soon as possible, rather, just to punish this Delphox from switching in time and time again. Also help chip down all of the other Pokemon too, and get them in range of a Roaring Moon endgame scenario here. Alright, and we see a switch into Weirdeer as we get our rocks up here. Weirdeer does reveal itself to be Intimidate, and it is also now in front of me, which means I can try and get some damage off on it, which would be outstanding for Roaring Moon down the road. And so I think that I'm just going to go ahead and click U-turn here. I don't expect to do too much, seeing as I am now -1. Let's see, Weirdeer. Weirdeer, it could be like some sort of setup-y type set, but like with agility maybe, or I guess it gets Trailblaze as well. I am pretty sure that this Pokemon does also get knockoff, so we'll have to take that into consideration here when we switch around. I think that what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go into the directly into the Archaludon after U-turning here. Alright, so a Life Orb U-turn at -1 from my Flygon did not very much at all. So this is going to be almost max Fizdef, which is I guess what I was fearing. So that's not great news by any means. The good news is that the rocks that I have set up are going to be there to stay. And so as soon as Delphox hits the field, assuming it's not Boots, it's going to take some chip damage. Let's just go ahead and go out into Archaludon. And we do see the Reflect come out. So it could be worse in this sense. And I am just going to now click Dark Pulse. The whole reason why I am Dark Pulse on this guy is to break any potential Colbur Berries on some of these extra mons like Slowking Galar, the Weirdeer as well, Jirachi too if it wants to switch in. You know, I would rather have those Colburs be broken by Pokemon like Archaludon, Pokemon like Cyclizar here, rather than the Roaring Moon down the road as I'm trying to win. So just going to go ahead and click that. Don't think that there's any reason for me to Steel Beam immediately other than I would kill this, which is great, but I don't want to Steel Beam on the chance that he switches into something like Galarian Slowking, and then I take a bunch of chip for absolutely no reason. We will see the Reflect come out again from this Psychic Moose here. We'll see if it's going to be Light Clay or not. It actually did not reveal any item here. So hopefully he doesn't go into something and start setting up, because that could be bad if he's going to also try and set up behind his own screens. So who knows if he's going to go for that. Aha, and there we go. We've popped ourselves a Colbur Berry here, and so now I feel quite safe about Dark Pulsing again. I could also go ahead and Iron Defense on a switch in case he wants to keep this around for the Roaring Moon, but I think that Dark Pulse is overall the better play here. He doesn't have any Dark Resists on his team, and so this is going to be, or any Dark Neutralities rather, so this is going to be doing some decent sized damage to anything, including that Slowking if it wants to switch in. Gotta take the chip where I can get it, and potentially pop a Colbur on that Pokemon as we did just now. So that's really good news actually for Roaring Moon down the line, that this Weirdeer is no longer holding. That Colbur Berry is forced to eat it here as I was clicking Dark Pulse. Oh, I'm happy I ended up making this change on my Archaludon set. The previous one was more of a like hard counter to Iron Boulder and things like that, and this one certainly still is, but I think that with Dark Pulse, now I've sort of adapted the set so that it can function when it's not around just the Iron Boulder as well. And now we see that Earthquake come out. We're going to take some chip damage, gain that defense boost, and Weirdeer is going to go down to our Dark Pulse. So that is great news for Roaring Moon, and we will see what Lostlotl decides to send in now. Hopefully this Reflect does go away in only 2 more turns, but who knows. We are also paralyzed, so we do have to keep that in mind. This does mean that we should underspeed Galarian Slowking now, which could be interesting, as it no longer gets a slow momentum on us as we switch out. So something to keep in mind there. Unfortunately, though, if we do end up getting a Thunder Wave off on Iron Boulder, we aren't going to be able to outspeed it with this guy anymore. That was part of the reason why I do have Thunder Wave on this set. But still, getting that Pokemon slow and under control would definitely be in our favor. Okay, and now we see Delphox switching in, and the stakes have risen for the game, as if I lose, Chef is going to drive off of a bridge. So we definitely don't want that happening. So I suppose I better win for my boy Chef in chat, and we'll see what we want to do here up against the Firefox. Gonna run a couple of calculations just to see how much damage we should be taking. Obviously, Archaludon not being the most specially defensive Pokemon of all time. Let's see here. It looks like unless we are choice specs, we shouldn't ever we should never die to this unless it's choice specs. It could also be something like Nasty Plot or anything along those lines. The thing that I am a little bit concerned about is the Delphox is now in, and I'm assuming it's going to Terra Fairy. So do I want to just go ahead and Steel Beam it? That is the question. That is, in fact, the question. And so I think that I do. Because unless he specs, he never kills. And I can stall out the Reflect, I think. I suppose maybe Thunder Wave is a good mid-ground. Oh my goodness, Chef left the game. That is so funny. I suppose Thunder Wave is a good mid-ground play, but I don't want him to like reveal Sub or something random. And so perhaps Dark Pulsing is correct, because surely he wouldn't Terra Fairy on like an incoming Steel move. That would be quite silly, I think. Or should I take the bait? I think I'm going to take the bait. Okay. Scorching Sands. We receive another boost, and Steel Beam procs a Babiri Berry, but we get that Pokemon all the way down to 9 measly HP. Interesting. Okay, so we are going to lose our Arch. This does make things a little bit hairy involving the Iron Boulder. But we do, of course, have that first impression Life Orb Jackal, which should be able to take care of it if it gets a little bit too out of hand. So I'm not terribly worried about that. Let's see, Scorching Sands from that Delphox. Let's see, that did about 40%. Go ahead and throw that into the calculator just to see what variety of Delphox we're dealing with here. And that does appear to be just some normal damage from max special attack with no item, if I had to guess. And I do have to keep in mind now that this is going to be Blaze. Yeah, it's going to be in Blaze range now, so its fire moves are going to do more damage. But I don't see a reason to just go into Dragalge and flip turn. Is that not always my play? Or do I go into Jackal and first impression? I feel like that's such an easy play to make, and it's such an easy play for him to go into the Jirachi on that as well. Or let's see, how much does Latios take? Do I want to start setting up screens now? Dazzling Gleam into my Latios with a regular amount of special attack investment actually doesn't do too much. Without my screen up, it only does 37. Am I reading that correctly? I suppose I am very, very bulky Spadef, and so I think that I'm going to go ahead and do this and just start setting up my own screens. Or maybe it is too early because there's a reflect up on the opponent's side. But I don't think that weirder would be light clay. If I had to guess, it would be something like AV. We'll see though. Go ahead and set up our light screen here. Man, dude. Wagon Fruit in the chat immediately changing sides. That's so tragic, bro. And ooh, interesting. Okay, so I might have done my calculations wrong then, somehow with this Delphox, because it does appear to be specs, which is not good for me. Uh-oh. Huh. Then the question is, now that my light screen is only up for a little bit of time, do I want to memento now and weaken this Delphox? I don't think I do. I think oh no, I almost clicked the wrong screen. Oh my gosh, my heart just dropped. My heart just absolutely dropped into the center of my stomach, bro. I think I'm gonna get my reflect up now as well. And then I can go into Roaring Moon and try and click DD twice. Is gonna be the game plan here after mementoing. As I'll still have, let's see. Yeah, I'll have enough turns to DD twice with my light screen. Alright, there's the Dazzling Gleam. Alright, and hopefully we can weaken this with memento. But let's see. Definitely confused Lotl here with the set. So we'll see what's going on. This is actually a set that I did show him. I was going to bring it to a different game. And I ended up not playing that game due to my opponent not just giving me a forfeit win there. And so I decided I would bring the exact same Latios into Lostlotl's game after having shown it to him, which is pretty funny. But I don't think he's going to be expecting it, and the question marks in chat are certainly confirming my suspicions. So hopefully Dazzling Gleam doesn't kill here, and we can go ahead and memento on this. I suppose I could also possibly win just by Dragon Dancing once. It depends on the Iron Boulder, really. It really does just depend on the Iron Boulder. Ah, we do die, damn, okay. Well, let's see here. I think then that this might be modest, or is it specs? It could be specs on this Latios, and it was Magician. Oh wait, it's no item. Yeah, it just stole my light clay, so my calc must be somewhat wrong with my Latios. I'm not too sure what that's all about, but that's okay, I think. Terra Fairy Dazzling Gleam into Roaring Moon as I set up one Dragon Dance should never kill. I'm pretty sure that that is the case. And we should activate the weakness policy as well. I don't know why I almost terra'd there. I think that, yeah, I can just go ahead and Dragon Dance here. It should never kill me with this Dazzling Gleam behind screens. Never. Not once. Alright, that worked perfectly. Okay, great. That worked really well, actually. This is outstanding. Okay, so we're at +3, +3, +1 speed. And what I'm going to do now is simply take out the Delphox, and I think I'm going to knock off, because it shouldn't matter. Yeah, there we go. Alright, So now the question is the boulder scarf? Is anything like scarfing past me? I don't think so, right? It's only boulder that can scarf past me, or booster speed past me for that matter. And at +3, I'm pretty sure that Glow King should also die to EQ. Yeah, definitely so. So I'm feeling pretty good about what's going on now. Latias. Let's try Latias. Yeah, looks like knockoff should always kill that as well. Even through Colbur with the rocks up. Wow, Roaring Moon is incredibly strong. Hopefully we can just end the game here. I don't know. Lostlotl saying GG with a question mark in chat. I don't know if it is going to be GG's. Because who knows? I don't want to lose to like a random Colbur, Shuka, something like that. Mooning. Backboards, get out of here. That's crazy, bro. We are not mooning. We are only winning with the Roaring Moon. That's the idea. But the way that he is taking his time here thinking does indicate to me that this boulder isn't Scarf, I'm pretty sure. So I feel very confident in potentially just winning right here, right now with the Roaring Moon. We'll see though. Alright, and Latios has hit the field. What does that mean for me? That means that I'm going to be clicking knockoff. Right? There's no reason to not click knockoff here. Let's run the calc just to make sure. I'm pretty sure I just said the same calc, to be honest, but let's go ahead and give it a Colbur Berry. A Colbur Berry, yeah, guaranteed Oko after Stealth Rock with almost like maximum defense and everything like that. Yep. Scarf. Okay. So he was hoping that he was faster there. Alright, and here is Slowking. So the question here is, am I going to knock this guy, or am I going to EQ this guy? I think knock kills through Colbur. Again, let's double check. I don't want to throw this game. Yeah, I think it should here. Alright, good. It wasn't even Colbur. It was actually Shuka. Oh my gosh. It was actually Shuka. Holy crap. I almost messed that up then. Here, I think that we should always also just knock. Great. And here, do it again. Oh my gosh, we did it. Oh, Roaring Moon, man. Oh, Roaring Moon. He beats the fraud allegations. GG's to Lostlotl. Ah, man, dude, I'm so happy that set worked. The same ass Latias, bro. The same one that I showed him earlier. Oh my goodness. Even without the light clay, we had enough turns to set up enough dragon dances, but had the iron boulder been fast enough, then that could have been really bad. But we make it. We make it into the next round of playoffs. We're going to be facing off against Gradient's monotype ground team. I'm going to have to think about what I'm going to do now in respect to that. I'm so tired, man. I thought about this matchup for like way too long today. My brain's hurting. I'm going to see you guys in the next section because I'm done for now. Alright, you guys, we managed to pull out the win against Lostlotl here in the quarterfinals. Pretty convincing one at that, with the Roaring Moon plan absolutely working to perfection. I'm very, very glad that the support Latios and the weakness policy and the rocks, it all came together. It all worked pretty much as intended. So that was very, very nice. And I'm also glad that the Archaludon sort of middle game that was formed ended up also working out, and we even took down the Weirdeer, which we'll talk a little bit about in a second here. But yeah, GG's to Lostlotl. This was a very, very even matchup, I think. I sort of had to again just put all of my eggs into the one basket I knew had the best chance of working. Of course, again, that basket being Roaring Moon. And I knew that last time the Roaring Moon basket ended up not working out, and so I had to invest even more into it, even taking the Raging Bolt off the team and throwing on that supportive Latios. I think it really did end up making a difference, but Lostlotl also made some interesting changes to his team. He ended up going minus Necro and minus Indeedee. And what else came last time? I can't even remember. But 3 new Pokemon on his team in Jirachi. Only 2. The reason why I thought it was 3 was because last game we lost so bad that we did not even see the Latios set. So I almost forgot that it came to that game. But 2 new Pokemon, minus Necro, minus Indeedee, plus Weirdeer, and plus Jirachi. And so I was very, very scared initially to see Weirdeer because I thought it was going to intimidate chain my Roaring Moon as I was setting up, which is obviously not great. I know it also gets bug coverage, I think it gets Mega Horn, maybe even some other moves to hit Roaring Moon. So it really put my Roaring Moon plan into a bad spot just on team preview, but I'm happy that ended up working out anyways. So I just go ahead and get into the battle here. Go ahead and lead with Flygon. Again, we're just going to click rocks. We scare out the Jirachi, which was perfect, and we see the Weirdeer here. And again, I'm just going to try and go for some chip on this thing. Go out into Arcalodon here as the Weirdeer sets up a Reflect, and we do end up popping a Dark Pulse. This was perfect. This is exactly why I have we do end up popping a Colbur rather. This is exactly why I have Dark Pulse on this guy, is to punish some of the Colbur mons that want to switch in on it. We see a Thunder Wave here. Earthquake is going to come out now. It's going to raise my defense, and Dark Pulse is going to take down the Weirdeer. So very, very happy that Lostlotl ended up giving me this Weirdeer early rather than keeping it around for the Roaring Moon. I'm not sure if it would have necessarily saved the game from the Roaring Moon, but now he's going to go out into Delphox, and so I'm very, very happy about that too, because it's taken the Rocks chip here, and I'm content now to just go ahead and Steel Beam it, because I know it never really kills me without specs here. So Steel Beam does a lot, and we go down to the recoil. And now I realize this is a good time for me to go ahead and set up my screens and go ahead and go for a win with the Roaring Moon in the back. And I actually miscalculated this damage because I'd forgotten about the Terra Fairy. And so once it started doing a little bit more damage, I became much more cautious in my calculations, and as a result that battle probably took a little bit longer than it should have. So sorry for stalling that out, Lostlotl, if you're watching this. And it does also end up taking my Light Clay, which is pretty interesting actually. I did not expect it to be Magician, but there you go. Very, very interesting set. We end up getting our 2 screens up. No Memento, unfortunately, but we do Dazzling Gleam now, and we proc the Weakness Policy, and this is game over. Thank goodness for that. I'm so glad this set ended up working out, because I was stressing about it for so long, and I did actually end up showing the Latios to Lostlotl to some extent. It wasn't the exact same set as the one that I showed him, but I was cooking for a game in another league where I have Latios as well, and I was bringing a full support Latios, except for instead of Tailwind, it was actually Energy Ball. And so as a result, it was kind of a little bit scary to bring this Latios into Lostlotl, considering I'd kind of just showed him a set recently. But there you go. Weakness Policy, Roaring Moon. He's a demon. At least when you're facing a Pokemon, a team consisting of Monotype Psychic Pokemon, then he can be a demon. So GG's against the Lostlotl. I'm sorry that I had to knock him out here, but we will be moving up in the bracket, into the semifinals, where we will be facing off against Gradients and their monotype ground team. So that's going to not be a rematch. So we'll have to cook that up sometime this coming week. I just started a new quarter here at school, so the first week usually isn't too bad. So hopefully I'll be able to bring a very, very solid build into Gray, but that's something for me to think about in the future. For now, whew. Again, I'm really glad that this set worked. I was stressing about it so much. So GG's to Lostlotl once more, and I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, go Seattle Slashers.